What's going on, everybody? Steve Pulaski back with another film review, this time of Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, and I'm wickedly excited to talk about this film, mainly because I've been waiting for a Captain Underpants movie for about 15 years right now. I mean, my God, I remember when Ratchet & Clank came out a year ago, okay? Horrible movie. I'm not going to waste much time talking about it. But I will say, when Ratchet & Clank came out, I remember sitting in the theater, I'm thinking, you know, if they would have made this movie maybe 15, 14 years ago, 2003, 2004, it would have killed. My generation would have ate it up. It would have been spectacular. And now I'm thinking the same with Captain Underpants. I'm like, my God, man, if I was 7 or 8 when this movie came out, I would have had a blast. And I mean, the Captain Underpants franchise too. Let me explain. I'm a huge fan. I talk about it more in my review link below. I was a huge fan of the franchise. It was one of the first book series I remember getting really involved in. Bought all the books, loved them, thought they were hilarious, and I was even upset too when I came to read the internet that I found out that Dav Pilkey, the author of the original book, he had his father was suffering an illness, so he couldn't continue the book series the way he wanted to. That's why there was such a big hiatus, and then that was kind of the period where I outgrew the series as well. But I mean, I love Captain Underpants, I really do, and I'm really excited to talk about this film because I loved it dearly. It was everything I could have hoped for it to be, even almost, you know, 15 years removed of ever having read a book now in the franchise. I thought it was extraordinary. The only two things that I wanted from the movie going in, I wanted it to keep the spirit of the book series, and I wanted it to be vibrant, colorful reimagining, okay? And that is what I got, okay? Directed by David Soren, written by Nicholas Stoller, who was responsible for the movies Get 'Em to the Greek and The Muppets. This film revolves around George Beard and Harold Hutchins, couple of prank-playing youngsters and such that like to write comic books, make each other laugh and stuff, very innocent. They have their own tree house that they write all their Captain Underpants books in. This is their superhero that they love and adore. And one day, when their principal Krupp winds up confiscating one of their comics, and he forces that they're going to have to go into separate classes. George and Harold are not going to be in the same class anymore. Out of desperation, George takes his hypno ring and hypnotizes Principal Krupp, and then whenever he snaps his fingers, Principal Krupp turns into the great Captain Underpants, and every time they splash water on him or whatever, he turns back into the mean Principal Krupp. So the film revolves around that, and then the film revolves around also the villain of the film, Professor Poopy Pants, if you can believe that. Professor Poopy Pants is a former Nobel Prize winner who comes to be a science teacher so he can remove technically the brainstem, not what he calls it, but the brainstem that he says is responsible for laughter in the human brain. He wants to eliminate and eradicate the world from laughter. And this is really a fun movie. The animation style is so cool here. Really reminds me of the Peanuts movie, even though that was Blue Sky Animation, but it has this really like cool blue hues, these kind of like midnight hues that really make the characters pop out of their setting and stuff like that. Looks totally different, in another league than Pixar. Not better than Pixar, but different. And that's what DreamWorks has to do right now, especially with movies. You know, they just had The Boss Baby, which is still in theaters too. That movie, they're trying to make their movies a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more different, visually unique. Not so much concerned with like animation lighting and techniques and stuff. They're more concerned with making good style and good cartoons, which is what ultimately Captain Underpants is. Wickedly funny, charmingly silly, which is, take note, I always blast the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. This is proof that you can be silly and immature and do it right. There's a certain wit to being immature. It's hard, but writer Nicholas Stoller really pulls it off. I commend him for it. He's written a hilarious film that will probably be my favorite animated film of the year for at least the next 2 weeks until Cars 3 comes out. I have high hopes for Cars 3. We gonna see. I got high hopes for Cars 3 over here. But for now, I have no problem praising Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. I give it an A- on Influx Magazine, 3.5 out of 4 stars on my personal website. Read my review below. You're going to want to. I dive into a lot of things about Captain Underpants. I dearly appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I will hit you next week. With reviews of Megan Levy and It Comes at Night. Insert joke here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video review. Bye.